speaking with Alexandre Da Costa, who is visiting San Antonio. Just played a wonderful recital this Sunday past with awesome music by Brahms. And you'll be here for a couple of concerts, not only for one of the classics concerts, but you'll be performing with the wonderful soprano Renee Fleming. How is it to sort of combine all these wonderful details? Because here you've just played a recital and now you'll lead an orchestra.
Well, I think it's the 21st century musician. You know, I want to touch many aspects of being a violinist and a musician. Being a soloist is one part of my life, so I do have many weeks every season as guest soloist of orchestras, mainly in Canada, Europe, Asia. And of course, the recital part is really much more like chamber music. So this Sunday I just played the Brahms Integral Sonatas with my very best friend and great pianist, Wani Song. He's an amazing musician, and together we played this great program, and we can really dig deep into music, but it's another aspect. It's completely different from playing solo with orchestra. And then there's this other part of my activities that I really like, and it's being a guest concertmaster and being part of this big symphony work, because the work as a symphony player is definitely not the same as being a soloist. So this is very important to me also, and all three aspects of the playing combined really make up for what the new musician of the 21st century should be about, which is, it's not about so much being specialized at one thing anymore. I think, like you'd say doctors specialize more and more. I think musicians should unspecialize and be more open to everything, instead of just playing one type of concerts or even one type of repertoire. The musician of the 21st century has to play all type of repertoire, properly being knowledgeable about all composers and being kind of comfortable in all those situations. And then there's the teaching also. So I mean, all this combined, I think it's what I'd like to be like. It's kind of going back to the Middle Ages, when the men would learn many tasks, and would be the noble would learn everything so they could be good at everything.
Yeah. And there are different skills probably. I mean, you probably don't have to talk with your pianist about what sort of bowing that whether or not you're going to do an up bow or down bow specifically, whereas with an orchestra you probably are going to be looking at Debussy La Mer, or look at the Ravel Scheherazade, you know, that will affect the other string sections and folks behind you. That are.
Well, I think, you know what, there is definitely a common spot in all of this, you know, because we have to deal with this up bow, down bow thing in the violin. It's a mechanical instrument, but we have to make it so that the audience will forget about this, you know. So when I play with a piano, I mean, he tries to play like a bowed instrument, and I try to be as harmonic as the piano. So it's really, we try to be the same instrument. It's just the medium that changes. He plays on the keyboard, I play on my strings with my bow. So, and in the orchestra, it's kind of the same. We try to make the audience forget that we have to go up, down, up, you know, and we just want to commute what the composer wanted to hear, and so we're at the service also of the conductor that has a vision. So if he feels something's wrong, and it has to do with a wrong bowing, or not maybe wrong, but something he didn't think of, then we just change it. We try to be really so that he closes his eyes and he can be closer to his vision of the piece.
Sure. I imagine there are some really great conversations that happen both with either chamber music partners, like a pianist, and with conductors who are then leading the orchestra, that say, yeah, I want this line to be sweeping. And that might come through even when you're playing Brahms concerto or Tchaikovsky concerto, that there are certain things that you want to say, oh, I'm going to take a little bit of time here, or what do you think about, you know, can we be careful about the horns playing too loud here?
Well, that's one of the parts. It's very interesting that you raised this topic, because as a solo violinist, when you come with a symphony, you have very little time. So you meet with the conductor maybe, I don't know, half an hour before the first rehearsal. You do the rehearsal, then maybe another little conversation with the conductor, but very short. Then the general rehearsal, then the concert. So basically, you have to explain your musical vision while playing, but the time is very limited. As a chamber player, you have a lot more time because you are in charge of your rehearsal time. You can talk with your partner or partners and so on. And as a guest concertmaster or concertmaster, you do have this access to the conductor much more. So you can talk with the conductor. You see the work, the work from the first sightseeing period with the other musicians. Then there's a longer process, and you can really feel the work being done with the piece, and not just as a solo or just alone. So it's very interesting, and for me, a good balance between all three aspects is what I'm looking for.
It's got to be kind of cool. You're going to be here for a couple of weeks doing these concerts, and then you're going to return next year as a soloist. So we'll not only have seen you as a recitalist this last weekend, we'll see you as concertmaster with the San Antonio Symphony, but then we'll see you out in front of the orchestra next year.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward. First to work with Maestro Sebastian Langlessing. He's a great conductor, and I think we're going to have a great amount of fun together. And we're playing this piece that is very special and very dear to me. It's Fire and Blood by Michael Dougherty. It's a piece I recorded with the Montreal Symphony not long ago, and the CD is a big success, especially also in Europe, where I'm playing the piece, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 times every season, so it's a big hit. And also we're just nominated at the Juno Awards this year, so we're waiting next month, and next month's going to be very exciting to see if we go through with this selection. So I mean, it's a big event, and I think next year it's going to be a big nice music blast for the public.
Now this concerto is amazing, musically amazing, and also inspired by art.
Yeah.
And so is it something that you went and looked at some of these works, and have you had some conversations with Michael as you got ready to record this?
Yes, I did. But the thing is that this concerto was brought to me by a conductor in Europe. He said, "Oh, you should look at this piece." And I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll just look at it." And I just fell in love with this concerto because it's exactly how I felt at the moment and how I feel now. Well, first of all, my name is Da Costa, so it's of course it's Portuguese, it's Hispanic. I lived in Spain for 12 years, so I feel close to this Latino part of my person, and then it's mixed with the North American feel of the North, and I'm from Montreal, so I'm French Canadian, so I mean I understand this part as well. And then it's very raw. I mean, it's very easy to listen, but you can feel the energy, and sometimes even the kind of violence that is needed to confront the 20th century reality. So because it's inspired by the factory works, the factory work of the workers in Detroit that were building the cars. So I mean, it's like man versus machine, and then it's absolutely amazing. And then it was inspired also by Frida Kahlo's paintings, by Diego Rivera. So it's pictures that were inspired by a woman that inspired a music piece of art. So it's very special, and my mother being a painter, it's just made the thing complete and very interesting for me. And I would say for right now, this is my favorite concerto. I mean, it's difficult to say because I love to play Tchaikovsky, I love to play Bach, Brahms, all the big concerti, but to go up on the stage and play Fire and Blood is really a treat for me.
Yeah, and it's one that folks may not know, but certainly they may have heard another Dougherty piece, and this is one that is exciting. To me, it's nice to hear there's a tradition of Bach and a tradition of Tchaikovsky. You're sort of helping set a tradition with Dougherty.
Yeah, well, I know Michael is absolutely famous here in the United States, and he's played very often. So to be able to play Fire and Blood in the United States for me is very important. Next month, for example, I'm playing it with Carlos Miguel Prieto and the Santa Barbara Symphony. So it's very important for me to show my vision of this piece. Now, when I take this piece abroad, as I said, I'm playing very often in Europe. Many times I give some or I talk about the piece on the radio like today, and they're unaware or they don't know so much of the music of Dougherty because he's new to them there in some parts of Europe. So I kind of have the space to just show them this wonderful composer, this wonderful piece, and it's like the first time they ever hear something by Michael Dougherty is going to be Fire and Blood and my version of it. So it's really great. It's like bringing, I will say something crazy maybe, but it's like bringing a Mozart concerto and making the premiere of it in some part of the world. I mean, it's wonderful. You can just say, this is my vision of it, and then they take it from there. So it's wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Technically, would you tell us a little bit about your violin and bow that you play?
Sure. I have a great violin. I'm very lucky because a company in Canada, Canimex, is loaning me a wonderful instrument. They've been loaning me violins for many years now, so I had to play Stradivari from early period and golden period Strads. I mean, so I was super lucky. And then just recently, I picked up the violin for me. It's a Guarneri del Gesù. It's well, there is a big fight between violinists, like who is the better builder, Guarneri or Stradivari. So, but you know, the Guarneri are very rare violins. They're very few. They have a dark, very powerful sound, and for me, it's perfect. You know, it's like the one violin that I would hope to play for many years to come. This, of course, is different for you. You can't control these things because it's already an honor to be able to play it for even a season. So it's great. But I touch wood and hope that this violin will follow me around for many seasons to come.
Oh, very cool. So you have this wonderful CD out with Montreal, and they have a new hall up there and whatnot that's just gorgeous. I've heard so many.
Yes, I'm actually going to perform Dougherty's concerto in April with them, again, in this new hall. It's going to be my debut in the new hall. And next year I'm playing one of America's most wonderful concerti, which is the Barber Violin Concerto with Maestro Vasily Petrenko. So we're doing 2 nights in Montreal in this new hall.
Oh, very cool. What else? So do you want to record more? Some chamber music? Concertis? Yes. What are the plans over the next couple of years?
Well, I have a great deal now that has just been finalized, which is to record for a major label, Warner Classics. They're based in London. So in May, I'm recording Lalo Symphonie Espagnole with the Basque National Orchestra. This is going to be an important recording for me because Lalo is a piece that I play very often with conductors like, I don't know if you heard of Rafael Frubeck de Burgos, one of, well, Spain's current most important conductor, and he's hired me to play this concerto quite a few times, and it's I now have a very definite version of it, and it's very Spanish, although it's French music, but living in Spain and kind of feeling a little Spanish myself, I play this piece as I think it should be played, which is the Spanish way. And then I have the Brahms sonatas recording coming up this summer with my friend Wani Song, so the same recital we gave yesterday or a couple of days ago in San Antonio. And then is as I said, the season, which is a mix between solo concerti with orchestra, then recitals, then some guest concertmaster appearances, and of course some teaching. So I try to keep myself very, very busy because this is what I like to do. I'm a musician and I'm young, so I want to work. I want to be able to travel a lot and do music everywhere I go.
Oh, fun. Well, we wish you the best and look forward to these new recordings.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.